Good day, good afternoon, good night. How you doing? This is MCM and you're listening to You're Probably Right. Today we are going to have a serious conversation. Well, maybe not a serious conversation, but there's going to be a serious talk happening here. Now, of course, I'm only doing the talking, but just stay tuned. The world was on fire, no one could save me but you. It's strange what desire makes foolish people do. I never dreamed that I'd need somebody like you. And I never dreamed that I'd lose somebody like you. No, I don't wanna fall in love. No, I don't wanna fall in love with you. What a wicked game to play to make me feel this way. What a wicked thing to do to let me dream of you. What a wicked thing to say. You never felt this way. What a wicked thing to do to make me dream of you. And I don't wanna fall in love. No, I don't wanna fall in love with you. The world was on fire, no one could save me but you. I say it's strange what desire will make foolish people do. I never dreamed that I'd love somebody like you. And I never dreamed that I'd lose somebody like you. No, I don't wanna fall in love. No, I don't wanna fall in love with you. With you. No, nobody loves you no more. Yo, what's up? This is MCM and you're listening to You're Probably Right podcast. I might sound a little bit different tonight as I am recording while on TikTok. And there's actually 0 people in here right now on my TikTok. TikTok sucks, yo. I'm telling you, my experience, it's a big waste of time to me. You never know who you're talking to if you talk to people, or you never know who you're messaging or putting your messages out to. Most of the people tend to be toxic. Some people are complaining about the people who go back and forth with them on TikTok, but they don't realize that a lot of the people on TikTok are very young. So you'll have these grown people making TikToks talking about people cursing them out or telling them they're ugly, or, saying all kinds of stuff to them. And it's like, do you know that person who called you ugly and said you're a waste man, or whatever it is, that person was 11 and just trying to get a rise out of you? Everybody has a bone to pick on TikTok, it seems. It's either everybody's wondering where all the men are, the high value men. The men are wondering where the high value women are. Guys are making excuses for why we're the way we are. Women are saying that a man only this way can be that for them. And it's just a really, 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 really weird place. And, it was an experiment for me. I mean, to pass the time, not really, because generally my job, I have 2 months off in the summertime to basically do whatever I want. Money's not as good, but it gives me something to do, you know what I mean? So anyhow, I thought I would just go through these questions. I haven't been on for a while. It's kind of weird actually doing this podcast. There's only one person inside my TikTok right now, and I figured I would just try to do it while having it on live. But it is kind of strange. I got this ring light on the right side of my head here, because I know you guys can't see me, but you can just hear me. But it's like, if you wear sunglasses, a lot of people who wear sunglasses, maybe even indoors, or every time they see certain people, they throw the sunglasses on, because they say the eyes are the window to the soul, and some people don't want to bear it to certain people, especially if you've been hurt by those people. Well, it's kind of like me doing this podcast while this camera is on the side of my head here. It's kind of uncomfortable, because it's like I can't fully be myself. A little bit, but at the same time I can, because I'm just kind of getting used to it. But it's like I feel this, and TikTok people, person, it's like it's coming on the side of my face. It's like, somebody sees it. If there's spit on my lip, they see it, and it tends to make somebody like me, who is an introvert, kind of go outside of myself. So that's definitely the TikTok live experience for me so far. And it's like the first time I tried doing a TikTok live, I had about 30 people in there, and I was trying to cut my youngest son's hair. And I've done it where I've cut his hair and my hair at the same exact time within 20 minutes, while I would do a little bit on his, a little bit on mine, and go back and forth. And within 20 minutes, I have 2 haircuts done. But then the moment I clicked on this TikTok and turned the TikTok live, all of a sudden it's like you feel that somebody's judging your every word, your every movement. And, it's strange. And then you wonder about these people, like I'm sure most people have, if you have TikTok, that you see the same people, you see the same type of videos, because the way they set it up with the algorithms or whatever it is. Sorry. They give you more of what you want, they hit something. I don't know if it's the dopamine hit or whatever it is people get from it, but it's like, it's 8 o'clock or something like that. And you say, by 8:15, I'm going to get off this thing, or I'm going to watch one more video. And then you find out, even if you said you're going to watch one more video, you end up watching 7 more, and then you fall into somebody's live, and then you're on there for an hour longer than you thought you were going to be on there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's really a strange place. And then sometimes you sit there watching TikTok and you see these people arguing with each other. And that's kind of crazy as well. So, anyhow, I'm going to get to these questions. I mean, if anybody shows up on the TikTok, then I suppose I'll answer a question. Right now, there's just one person inside here looking at me. It's probably Joe, but I don't even know. But if it is, what's up, Joe? Otherwise, maybe it's this person, Mesafan or whatever they called themselves, told me that it was 1 a.m. in China. Meanwhile, I just straight up asked Siri and it said it's 10 a.m. So, and that's like the nature of it if you're on there. So, anyhow, let me get to these questions. I gotta turn this thing down in my ear. Or I'll just pull it out until it stops with that. One of these days, I'm gonna get Spotify back again. But just to sit through a couple commercials, I can deal with it. I can dig it, especially at home. All right, cool, good. That's nice. Okay, so first question. Let me get to the questions. Okay. Who is your hero? Pretty sure I did this before. Okay. Well, my hero is my father. A very hardworking man who had me late in life. So needless to say, he's not around now. But I've never seen a nicer, harder working individual who, when I came around, though, I did have, well, there was 4 of us as siblings. Now there's only 2 of us. And when I came around, because I was the last child, my father was always very patient with me. Very good dad. Hardworking. The lovey-dovey stuff wasn't really a mainstay in our household, but he always was caring for us kids. You know, I grew up in a Jamaican household, a Jamaican Christian household, and the gap between our ages was ridiculous. So there wasn't a lot of physical running around with him. Yeah, I was born when my father was turning 49. And from a young age, I always knew that when I got older that he just wouldn't be around because the math just didn't add up. But I can honestly say that he was my hero. And the thing that I honestly can say that I miss the most about my father is the fact that I can't ask him questions. I don't know how many of you are in the same boat as me, but that's one thing you do really miss about parents and people who you are very close to. It's the questions, the conversations, the other points of view that you don't get anymore, and then a lot of the time you end up having to dig into your memory bank Rolodex of things that you had conversations about. And then you have to do that thing where it's like, you know, people do it with Jesus. They say, what would Jesus do? Even though the Bible's plain and simple and clear. With your family members, friends, loved ones, or whatever who have gone on and passed, you have to, well, if you're lucky, you can go through conversations that you have with them. Otherwise, you have to kind of try to imagine what they would think or they would say in a situation. Yeah. So I took a break from podcasting for a bit, and that was because of the passing of my sister, I guess. I can't say it was 100% because of that, but like life situations are really funny that way. You know, people passing is really funny that way. It gives you a different outlook on life. As I said, I was born in a family of four kids, and I am the youngest of the four. And, you figure you just miss if you're close to them, you figure you'd miss all of your siblings probably equally. But then you tend to notice, or at least I notice, that you have different relationships with each person you know. Even if you have 10 kids, even if you have 2 kids, you may love them equally, but the things you might do, or the understandings between each of you, or the connection between individuals are always different. And, I look at the situation when my brother passed away. It was sad because he had a rough life. He had a very tortured life. But at the same time, he had a full life, even though it was cut short. But the way that his life was spiraling now, it was going in a negative direction. So I feel like it was the mercy of God when he passed away. And I've talked about this before. The funny thing is that we had an argument a few weeks before he passed away, and the last thing that I remember of him was him walking out of the house and nodding to me like, okay, we're going to talk about this again. Till next time. The sad thing is that I didn't know there wasn't going to be a next time. So that's what that was. And just recently, well, not that recent, but recent, my sister passed away in the end of June, and it was totally different. Luckily, mercy of God, I was able to be there for the last moments of her life. I was able to tell her that I love her. I was able to fulfill her final requests. It was funny because, I heard my sisters talking, and I came upstairs, and my sister just asked me if I could move her from her bed to a chair. I said, sure. And this was, I guess I'm not really telling it properly, but this was after us thinking that maybe she needed to go to the hospital. Now, I'm not going to give you the whole thing, but the point is that she was like, no. She said it like 6 times, like, I want to stay home. I want to stay home. And my other sister was like, man, you have so much energy today. Maybe today would be a good day for us just to go get you checked out and stuff like that. And she was like, no. And then the next thing you know, she was gone. And I cut the story short, but the funny thing is I just feel so happy that she asked me to do a couple things for her. I did them. I didn't complain like the younger, miserable brother I could have been so many times, different times in our lives. And when I noticed that life was leaving her body, I was able to tell her that I love her, which was kind of really cool. I mean, it's funny. It's like you can never satisfy the tears that roll down your cheeks when you're thinking of someone like that in your life. It's never satisfying. Some people wonder why some people, they cry or whatever it is. But, or you have this sorrow over certain people that you lose in your life, for me, it's like you're trying to comfort yourself, and you allow yourself to cry, or not really cry, but you allow the tears to roll a little bit. But it doesn't really do it. It's the best way I can put it to you. And it's interesting. You lose someone like your sister, who, I called my little sister. Even though she was 2 years older, it was like I felt she was my little sister. And so many things change. I mean, it's been a month, almost a month and a half, and she's been gone. I had to set up an actual funeral. That was definitely the first time. And what I've realized since her passing is that so many things are different. And there's like, when somebody passes away, the weird thing is, depending on how close you are to your feelings for that person, you may not know how important they really were to your life. Like, yeah, she was my sister. She was one of my 2 sisters, one of my 3 siblings that I had, and now I have 1. But yeah, we were really close. And I'm thinking of the different things, how life has changed since she's gone, and what it's gonna be in the future now that she's gone. Like, I think about Christmas. Me and my sister, when we were still in the same house around Christmas time, would still watch like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. She would like those sappy snowy Christmas movies. But now it's crazy. It's like I have kids, and it's like that child was always in me. That child of Christmas was always in me, for instance. And the reason why I go to Christmas, because there's so many other things I just haven't considered, but I know how much she loved Christmas. I know how much we loved Christmas. And now the fact that she's gone now, it's like, how do you enjoy Christmas without your closest sibling, or without the person who you enjoy it the most with, or having around at that time? It's definitely going to be crazy, and it's different, even if you do have kids, because I don't know, they look to you for stuff. Not only like, not saying like they're looking like it's the presence or that, it's different. I literally experienced my first Christmases with my sister. We were the same age almost. My 2 siblings were closer in age, and then there was me and my sister. So it's like I had 3 siblings, but I had one closer sister just because we were closer in age and closer in experiences at the same time. It was different being a 12 or a 14-year-old in, the time that I was, different from my older sister and brother who were 7 and 8 years older. It's different, it's weird. So I want to get to these questions, but I mean, I already have, sort of. I answered that question about who was my hero, and I only got to one question. Guess I'm out of practice, but that's okay. As I said, I got this camera on the side of my head, and people pop in every once in a while, and I've kind of don't even look at them. I'm not even really interacting, but they're not really saying much. Somebody says, "Hi, how are you?" Somebody says, H8, whatever the heck that is. Maybe that's 800 hours. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, what the person said, but they bounced anyways. So that's okay. That's cool. This TikTok thing was definitely an experiment for me, but as I said, it's such a waste of time. And here's a little secret for you. I actually bought followers on TikTok, and that thing actually works. I mean, I paid one fee, and within a week I had 7,000 followers. So if you wanted to do a live, well, my live wasn't even legit the first time, because I did it. I got to do it simply because I paid into it. Now, when I realized what most people do on it, like I'm giving you the lowdown on TikTok. If you want to, you can. Let's see if I can figure out who I paid. I'm gonna tell you, because it was legit. So I mean, that's a good thing, because I hear sometimes when people pay for their followers or whatever it is on TikTok, that they get ripped off. So I'm gonna tell you who I paid. So if you want to, if you want to get in the game, I thought, you know what, a good place for me to be is on TikTok, because I could somehow pull the viewers from there. I can't even do this thing while even being on the. Hold on. Oh, it's not even on here. No, it's not gonna be on this thing. But yeah, I legitimately paid and got a whole bunch of followers. Luckily my likes were all legit, but there were just certain things you can't do unless you have a certain amount of followers. Like, you can't do a live unless you have 1,000 followers. So that kind of sucks. Let's see if I can find it. What is this? I don't even know who that person is. But anyway, it was called Talk Something. Anyways, and yeah, so I got them and everything was cool with it. And then what happens is you slowly lose the illegitimate followers, and then you are supposed to somehow supplement the ones that you're losing with the fresh ones that you're getting legitimately. And as I said, it's kind of cool because it puts you in a place that you probably don't really belong, in a sense. Like, you haven't really earned it, but then who's really earned followers? I mean, some people on these social sites, all they're doing is shaking ass and getting followers, and I don't think you legitimately have earned those either. I mean, you earn it, I guess, but in my books, it's not very legit. You know what I mean? But yeah. Next question. I've only answered one question all this time. Imagine. Been on here for a half an hour already, which is kind of cool. If you could live anywhere, where would it be? Well, I'm going to be corny and say right where my family is, right where I am right now. You know, I'm definitely cool with being where I am. You know, like, where else would you want to be, really? Like, I'm going to desire to be away from my people? Not me. Like, what, just on a beach somewhere? In a place where there's warm weather? I mean, what if you're in a place with warm weather and nothing but coldness around you? No loneliness and sadness. Like, I know, I mean, I guess you don't have to look at it so miserably, I suppose. But I wouldn't just want to be away from the people I love, the people who care about me. You know? Where's the fun in that? I'm trying to find this thing. Here we go. It was called Talkmatic. And apparently the charges go through from Dubai or whatever it is. But I mean, I guess you can use it. I mean, I guess I'm not really endorsing them. But what I'm saying is they definitely didn't rip me off. I got what I paid for. I got to be able to do things that I wasn't able to do before, which at the end of the day, I didn't even really want to do it. Once I found out what type of people are mostly on this type of thing as TikTok, I didn't see how the two worlds were really going to correlate for the type of podcast that I do. And another thing is, it was a perfect example, is that, you know, I got on the live and I said, yeah, let me see if I can do my podcast and do TikTok at the same time. And it was somebody lying about where they were from. Isn't that a basic question? It's kind of like, where are you from? How old are you? What do you do for a living? Blah, 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 blah. And then you get these people on here who don't even want to be honest because they probably have no business being on your TikTok in the first place. And because it's not really policed properly, I mean, somebody signs up for something on the internet, they can say they're 13, but they could be 76 or vice versa. And the funny thing is, most people on there are actually taking in what people are typing to them. Like, you know, they'll tell you, oh, you're this, you're that, where are you from, blah, blah, blah. But like, you have no clue. And to be frank with you is like, I'm shocked at how many people just sit on it all day. And I'm not talking about the people who are looking. I'm talking about the people in the fishbowl, the TikTok fishbowl, that literally live in there and tell people to cash app them and tell them to give them likes, and they're gonna jump through hoops if they get 1,200 likes and all these weird things. Like, why would you do that to yourself? And at some level, it must be addicting, because it's like you become a whore for the attention, especially if you weren't receiving that type of attention before. I mean, you peer into some of these TikToks and literally these guys are saying, oh, I would change my religion for you, and how tall are you, and where are you from? I've sat in there and people literally ask this question every 5 seconds. Like, the marks in these places, in these lives, really think that if the person is in their city or in their country, they have some type of a shot with them. I'm saying, what type of a shot or what kind of a situation are you going to have with somebody who is on TikTok live for 8 hours a day? And then they go on, I think, their OnlyFans or whatever it is for a few more hours to whatever. I guess, you know, no holds barred at that point. Once the money comes through Cash App, I guess they just, you know, tricking for money or whatever it is. It's disgusting. It's sad. And I understand it from the John, I guess we got to call them Johns. I can understand it from their standpoint. It's like, you know, dude sitting at home, he's lonely, or a girl sitting at home and she's lonely, and, you know, maybe they're not the best looking person in the world, or maybe they're, you know, just in a situation where they don't get out much or can't get out much, or their environment that they live in isn't very friendly and they need something to take them away from reality. So they're willing to pay into it. But for the person that's literally stuck in the TikTok fishbowl, being gawked at and being questioned and all that stuff about by random people who happen to be floating in and out of their lives, literally, it must be addicting. You know, I've peered into some of the lives, and it's like the dude's like, how old are you? How tall are you? Where are you? Oh, I know that. Oh, you must have this inside of your culture. And like, it's sad. It's really sad. But I mean, I think, honestly, if I was a girl and I was getting all that attention, and, you know, maybe the dude in my life or the past relationship was kind of messed up, and you have guys telling you that you're beautiful every 14 seconds and really asking questions about you, like, I think it would be pretty addicting. And, for some of them, I really, really feel sorry for them that are doing it. And then also for the dudes that actually think he's going to be able to turn a trick into a treat for the rest of his life or something. Like, some guys just on there to just play. They just, this is my playground. I'm lonely. I do nothing outside of work, whatever it is. So I jump on and I see if I can talk to women that I could probably never talk to in my lifetime, and ask whatever I feel like, however I feel like, and understand that if the person even shuts me down or kicks me out of their life, well, guess what? It's on to the next one. And it's sad. I'm happy that I experienced TikTok for what it is. I get the jokes and all the stuff that happens on there. There is a lot of comedy on there and music, nice music. But the toxic stuff, it's pretty creepy. So I got my TikTok. It's there. There's 7,000 followers or something, but it's like here's a joke. The stuff that I wasted no time on making at all, as far as TikTok is concerned, for most part, I left a couple of them on. The highest views I had on anything on TikTok was only, I think, 10,000 views, and it was some nonsense. And then anything that I actually spent my time and energy and thought process in, the most I had was maybe 800 views on a video of stuff that actually took time and thought and a little bit of heart in, and then you can just go on there and do some nonsense and people will eat it up. If you're not on there preaching and telling people how to live their lives and how to find the right one, or if you're not on there telling people why they're not a 10, or you're a 10 but you only make 50,000 a year or whatever it is, or whatever disqualifies your numbers, if you're not doing that stuff, it's like it doesn't matter. It's sad, and I really feel bad for people. Really feel bad for myself that I wasted my time, but it was an experiment. And it was an experience that I've been able to be on here talking. I was supposed to be answering the question of listeners that because I haven't been doing the podcast for a month and a half now. Wow. I thought I was going to shoot all the way up to 100 episodes. I think I'm at about 70. But maybe I should have split them in half, made them half an hours instead of hours. Let's see what I've done tonight so far. See, I'm already at 33 minutes and it felt like no time at all. As I said, the only thing weird to my listeners, because you can't see me, is that I have this camera inside of my face and it's only one person in it right now. How you doing? I don't know if they're going to say anything. There's been a couple words here and there from people who've passed by. Again, you can say what's up. I can answer a question if you want. If you're wondering why I'm here, it's Messi fan again, or Messi fan again. There you go. It's Messi fan. So you like Messi. Okay, geez, I finally got that. Imagine. Must be young. Anyhow, yeah. So it's not a place that I would like to spend a lot more of my time, to tell you the truth. But it is what it is. Obviously, I must be interesting a little bit, huh? But yeah, you're on these things, and you're on TikTok, and you definitely, if you're a person who messes with it at all, you have to know you can't take things to heart. If somebody tells you that you're more beautiful than Beyonce or uglier than Flavor Flav, you can't take it to heart, because for all you know, it could be a 9-year-old on there who ran away with their parents' phone. You know what I mean? And I literally see people on there saying, I can't believe this person said this to me, and TikTok is such a toxic place, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, don't you realize that the people watching you are the people with the crappy lives? They have nothing to do with themselves. So they're cursing you out, seeing if they can get a rise out of you, trying to get attention, especially those TikToks or the lives that are like everything's going so fast. You have, you say like one thing to somebody and you think it's the most poignant thing you said all day, and the person looks away, and then by the time they look back, whatever you asked them is gone. And it's like, do I want to spend my time and type those characters again? And it's like, not really. But yeah, that's how it is. Messi fan, you want to say something? You want to ask something? Or you just kind of just chilling out there? It's kind of creepy that you've been here all this time and you're not really saying much. Just kind of peering in. Yeah, well, whatever. Okay, on to the next question. What is your biggest fear? My biggest fear? Not making it to heaven. Honestly. And, the older I get and the more loved ones I lose, your mortality definitely comes into play as far as your consideration of things that you care about. So easily not making it to heaven. My biggest fear isn't even, drowning or getting in a car crash or something, which I've never been in yet. But I'm more concerned about what happens to me after life. I'm not worried about how situations are going to happen in life as far as passing is concerned, because I know the picture is so much bigger. That's just my take. Next question. What is your favorite family vacation? I've said it before, something about Miami. But when I look at it, it wasn't really nothing much to it. It was just the fact of being from Canada and from Ontario, Canada, and going into a hot climate out of the winter and being able to go to these huge malls. It's not even the beach. You could care less about the beach. And even now, since I've had an ear operation and I can't even go down too deep anymore, it's like I could care less about going on a beach and swimming in the ocean or whatever it is. It's crazy. But yeah, like Dorothy said, there's no place like home. So vacation for me honestly now is more or less just being around the people who care about you and who want to be around you. And things are so much different now, even in that respect, as far as the people who you care about is, from, my sister passing, it's like, I realized out of everybody, yeah, even my parents included, I think that I was, as far as my immediate family was concerned, I looked to her approval more than most, probably because she disapproved about so many things that I was doing in my life over the time that we spent together, It's crazy. It's funny how life is. So definitely I would encourage you to value those who have value to you, and to definitely take stock of who has value, because some people in your life will try to add cachet to the value that they have in your life, and then some people don't try to add to that cachet at all, but for some reason they have a lot of value. And if you don't notice it right now, you're going to notice it eventually. You'll definitely notice it eventually. So that was part of the reason why I hadn't been podcasting, really. I think my last one I did was last month, and that was after doing and setting up the funeral and everything. But I'm back. I'm getting to 100 podcasts regardless by the end of the year, which is cool. Did you know that 85% of podcasts that are done don't go past like episode 5? It's kind of weird, huh? There's so many bits and bites of podcasts that are just kind of sitting out there in the universe, just left there to rot. And the one main thing that they say is if you start podcasting and you really care about podcasting, the one thing they always say to you is don't stop, which most people do. They get, they get stressed out about it, which I don't. I'm able to carry on a conversation, obviously by myself if I have to. And apparently I'm able to do it while somebody might be staring at me on camera, which is cool too. And they don't say anything, just sit there looking at you. Maybe they don't understand English, who knows? It's kind of cool though, whatever. Let's see, next question. What would you change about yourself if you could? If I could change something about myself, I would change the rate at which I process different stimuli. And again, if it wasn't that, then I might change the fact of being introvert. Yeah, that would probably be it. More than the processing. Because the reason why I say that is because, for me, being an introvert and being a shy person and sometimes having slow processing, I realize it's not necessarily that I'm slowly processing some things. It's the fact that I feel so many things surrounding me when I'm, say, like speaking in public out to many people at one time, like in a group setting or whatever it is. It's because I'm literally reacting to things that people, like their body language, everything, all their language. I'm reacting to the way people are saying things. I'm reacting to the way they look when they're interacting or I'm speaking to them. Sometimes it's just me speaking and you see the person like just little subtle bodily movements, and you something inside of a person like me, like an introvert, who will want to speak to those things. And the problem is, if you're standing in front of, say, 10 to 50 people at one time, which I, unfortunately, because of the way my job is, sometimes I have to do, it's like you want to speak to it all. Somebody told me, who said they're like me, they just, when somebody gives them one of those signals as an introvert, and I mean, if you're an introvert listening, you'll know what I'm talking about. But when they get those signals from some people, what they do, or those people that they get the signals from, they just look at somebody else. And I'm like, really? That's cool. I wish I could do that, because I'm also a person who likes to solve problems. So if you're a problem solver, you can't just close your eyes and look at the next person. It's like, okay, so now you have a whole bunch of stuff to say on the left side. Meanwhile, you know that the person on your right side had an issue and you want to solve it. But no, you're supposed to be presenting to the other 49 people in the room. And therefore, because I can't address all the issues at the same time, it's frustrating. So first I said processing, then I said not being an introvert so much. But it's really hard to say, because at the same time, if you are a person who is an introvert, you have this superpower. There's this thing in you that, like, you get those feelings and that other people have without saying anything to you. Whereas some people who are extroverts, they don't get those little subtle things, those little nuances, those eye twitches, or the change in the countenance of somebody's face without them saying anything to you can a lot of time not fully read their mind, obviously, but you glean more from the little subtle things in life. So for that reason, I would say I would never want to change the fact that I'm an introvert. What's up? So, yeah. I honestly, maybe I wouldn't change anything. It's just I hate being nervous for no reason. You look back as an introvert, sometimes you think, wait, why was I nervous speaking in front of those people? They're no better than I am. But for whatever reason, public speaking is the number one thing on most people's list when it comes to fear. That's talking in front of a lot of people. Of course, today I don't have that problem because there's like one person in my life, which is kind of cool. Somehow I got 999 likes though. Strange. 999 likes. This is the first time I actually looked at it. Weird, right? 999 likes and I wasn't even paying attention. And I see people jumping around on their TikToks trying to get likes. That's really cool. This is only my second time doing a live, maybe third. I think I dropped in one other time, but I actually got 900. Why isn't there 1,000 likes? That's just weird. The fact that there's 909. Yo, man, I'm not sure what your name is. Just give me a like, man. Just hit it up so it goes to 1,000 one time. Yes? No? Maybe I don't even speak English. That's crazy. Sorry about that, podcast friends. We're going to move on to the next question. I wonder how long I can do this. It's 11 o'clock here right now where I am. Let's see. What really makes you angry? I can say that from a general standpoint, from the person I am, the person I've always been. One thing that makes me livid is when I see somebody being physically bullied by someone else, or when something like physical is about to happen to someone. There's something inside of me that always like jumps into action and I don't even think, which, you know, it's really twisted, I would say. But I think I've said it on this podcast before. I have two instances. I'm going to talk about the one that didn't have anything to do with me really, except it could have. And it was the time when I was actually buying something for my podcast. I was buying a mixer because I thought I was going to be able to tape stuff and do this, that, and the other. And just to find out that, well, later I found out that it was really for instruments. It wasn't for vocals. But I went downtown Toronto and I purchased this thing from this guy. Amazing deal. And I just was driving home, minding my own business, chilling, happy I got this amazing deal. And then I saw this guy in a Honda Civic cut off a pickup truck. And you could tell by the way the guy was driving the pickup truck, that he was totally ticked off that this guy cut him off. And they went back and forth, lane, switch lane, whatever it is. We got to a red light and they're honking and whatever it is. Next thing you know, the guy, stupid, he's in the Civic and I guess he's trying to impress his girlfriend. So he jumps out of his car and you could see his girlfriend try to reach to her left and try to grab him to stay in the car. This idiot gets out of his car. So then what happens? The guy in the pickup truck says, all right, cool. He jumps out of his truck. Then the girlfriend jumps out of the car. They start screaming and they're going at it. And they're getting closer and closer. I said, oh Lord, I got nothing else to do. This is early COVID. So what ended up happening was the road was just empty. It was downtown Toronto, heart of Toronto, and everybody was, tucked away at home. So it was like this big drama was about to go down, and I'm the only person watching. And so I get out of my car. I get in between these two guys. They're going, blah, 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 blah. So then, of course, because I'm the innocent bystander, even though the girlfriend is screaming at this guy to stop his nonsense, they're looking at me as like he wasn't paying her any mind, which, guys do all the time. You get angry, you're ready to fight, your girlfriend's asking you, begging you to stop, but because you gotta show this bravado, it's like you got this thing in you that says like, listen, woman, shut up. I need to handle my business. But because I was another dude and because I happen to be bigger than both of them, I became the judge of what should go down masculinely. I can't even say that word, but in a masculine type of way. And I was like, come on guys, just stop, don't worry about it, it's okay, just like let him, whatever, let it go. The guy in the Honda says, I didn't see him, he was just going, he wants to go, like he wants to fight, so let him come fight, and blah blah blah. I'm like, no man, it's okay, I understand, you cut him off, you didn't do it on purpose, whatever it is, go back, this, that, and the other. Girls trying to grab him. Finally he leaves. It was like one of those things, you know, if you're a guy, if you ever got that thing where you're having a shouting match until you realize that it's gonna have to go further, it's gonna have to be physical, and then if you're lucky, you have a guy like me who jumps in the middle, kind of like hold me back, even though you know you don't want to do anything. So he jumps back into his car with his girlfriend, who's probably gonna leave him at that point. Like the way that went down, it looked like these two were not long for the world together. And they get in. The other guy turns to me, he starts going on, and I'm just trying to calm him down too, the guy in the truck. And then, you know what, he goes, you know, that guy's lucky. And I go, why? And then he puts his arm down. He was wearing a lumberjack jacket. He puts his arm down, and out slides this no less than 12 inches or more of a screwdriver that he was going to stab this guy up with if it had got more physical. And you can only imagine. Like, I honestly know that for a fact that I saved somebody from getting seriously hurt. I can't say that I saved anybody's life, but there's a possibility as well. And it could have been one of these guys' lives as well. It could have been the guy's girlfriend. You know, somebody probably would end up in jail. I mean, it was the heart of downtown Toronto. So even though there was no people, 100% there was a camera on us when this thing went down. But within myself, it's like, you know, I look and I say, you know, maybe that thing, you know, I look back at the last question, what would I change about myself? And at the same time, I look at the next question where it says, what really makes you angry? Well, yeah, when somebody's about to get their head knocked off and I think I can do something about it, and the one person looks like they have no business fighting the other person, I am always in there for the underdog. But at the end of the day, maybe one thing I would change is that, not that I would help somebody out who's in a rough patch, but it's that I would think more, you know. But again, if I had thought too long, somebody would have been probably stabbed at that point. How the heck do I have 999 likes still? I mean, somebody hasn't popped up in here. It's funny. What is this thing? Let me check it out here for a second. That's cool. That's cool. All right, next question. What motivates you to work hard? Well, sadly, approval that whatever it is I did well. You know, they say that any job worth doing is worth doing well. Well, sometimes, sadly, I can say that I can have a default of a people pleaser, I guess, a little bit when it comes to my work. Like, you want to know, I guess, if you work on the artsy side of things, like when I've sung songs before, when I've performed at concerts in my younger days, whenever I've produced some type of artsy type of work, even for my job right now, which isn't based around art, but every once in a while there has to be some type of art sort of produced. Having the approval from somebody else that you did a good job is nice. So knowing that that is a possibility, but I don't know if I'm motivated by somebody saying you did a crappy job, as well as, or rather that somebody says you did a good job, because I'm not even that good at taking compliments. So it's probably the first. It's probably I am more concerned about somebody telling me that I did a crappy job rather than a good job, because I know people lie, and sometimes the job that I've done or the song that I've sung doesn't even please myself. So I guess it's not really people pleasing in that sense, but I guess I just don't want the negative criticisms, I guess. And that is really hard on somebody who does art or somebody who sings or any kind of creation. I mean, even a building. You imagine being a person who created this amazing architectural structure and it falls or it's not built in a useful way for people properly, and you know that and you hear the reviews. That would suck. A big building that they have no intention of tearing down, but you know that you built the parking lot too small, or you built it in a bad way for some reason. That would really suck. For someone like me, of course. Some people would be like, well, I got paid, so who cares? Let's see. What is your favorite thing about your career? I guess that I get to help people. I can always look back that even if I'm not the best at my job, I know that the little parts that I am really good at, I was able to help a lot of people, and I was able to leave some sort of an impression on people to be better, or to be better to other people. So it's like the gift that keeps on giving, in a sense, I suppose. So I think that would be the biggest thing. Certainly not the money. You know? Wow. What's going on there? I'm talking to the people, or the person that's in my TikTok. It's only one person. It's just one person in there. It's kind of funny because so many people have passed through, but I guess I'm talking pure nonsense and not really interacting. But that's okay. Anyhow, guys, I really appreciate you stopping by. So happy that I could talk. Been oddly enough, been dreading getting back, pulling out the equipment to do the podcast, because I've been sidetracked, or I've been busy doing other things. Yeah. But I know this is where I belong. So yeah, that's cool. $11:17 over here. Let's see how long I've been on here. Time. I got almost an hour going here. So, see if I can do one more question. Maybe we can get to 10. What is your biggest complaint about your job? Biggest complaint. The biggest complaint, but it wouldn't be just about my job. It's just the people that are fake. The fake people. The ones that pretend that they're concerned about who you are. The ones that pretend that they want to help, when the only thing they're really concerned about is doing their own thing and getting ahead. Or the people who take credit for your work or for my work. But as I was saying to one of my kids, the good thing is, someone was trying to give me credit for something that I did. And I was saying to my son, the youngest one, I was saying, a good thing is that whatever I created, whether it's really good or amazing or just half decent is that I know that I can duplicate that work and I can even do it better. So it doesn't bother me if I don't get credit at the time that credit is due. Because even if there's somebody who takes credit for something that you did, you know that inside of that person, even though maybe the next interaction they would have with some work that you have done, maybe just to steal it again or to take credit for it, is that deep down inside that person, they respect your work. And that's the reason why they try to take credit, not only because they're lazy, but because of the fact that they know that what you've produced is better than they can produce, or it's just as good as anything that they can produce, or way much better than whatever it is they could produce. And therefore, they are happy to, lie and take credit for it. So for me, that is credit in itself to me. It's funny too, especially when you get the stories of somebody stealing your work or trying to take credit for it or whatever it is. Yeah. Next question. What is your proudest accomplishment? I mean, what do you say to that? There's so many things but it doesn't give me pride. It gives me satisfaction. It gives me happiness, but not pride. Maybe I'm thinking of the word in a different way, but I like the feeling I get when I know that I've truly helped people, when I've truly produced good work. Those things make me the happiest. It fulfills me the most in that way. If there's any kind of fulfillment that you can get from your job, it would be the fact that I've really helped, Yeah, that'd be good enough for that answer, I think, for me. What is your child's proudest accomplishment? Well, I have more than one, but I can honestly say there's so many. If it's not my son being one of the best basketball players on his team, even as a young boy, and for a referee who sees thousands of students every year turning to me while my kid is just played half of a basketball game and saying, "Is that your kid, number 3?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Wow, he's really, really good." I was like, "Cool," Or if it was my daughter who ended up playing a few instruments in high school when she won a talent contest by singing. And she sang the song, was it Titanium? And it was just amazing. And then she almost won the year after, and some little dude who was like a YouTube sensation beat her by singing like opera, which was trash. And I think it wasn't trash, sorry. I think it was more of a novelty of seeing a little dude singing opera, which he probably went to lessons for. And my daughter coming in second, and there was no training besides whatever we taught her at home. So that was cool. Or my younger one, who is able to produce work good enough for adults and better than adults at times on the computer, which still astounds me. It's so funny. And considering that when we bought the computer for the kid, he was scared to use it. It's really funny. So yeah, I think I'm gonna cut it off there, unless I really want to answer this next question. Oh, I will answer it very easily. What is your favorite book to read? My favorite book to read is the Bible. The reason why it is my favorite book to read is that, first of all, I believe that the Bible is true. I believe that the Bible is the Word of God, 100% Word of God. I believe it gives me direction on how to live in so many different ways. It gives me so many examples of things not to do. It gave me so many examples of what happens when you do certain things and what's the result. It helps me live a better life. It shaped the society that I live in that people, they go as far as to swear on the Bible when they're in court, although it's more of a pomp and circumstance or more of a ceremonial kind of a thing. They have a person swear on the Bible, but the fact of the matter it is the Bible. And they know that it is sacred to so many because of the words that are in it and because of the fact that it shaped the very basis of the society at one point. I know people are going away from it now, but it has meant so much to so many. Yeah. So the Bible. All right. Anyhow, that should do it for today. So happy that you came. So happy that you stopped by. Remember, this podcast is for you, my listeners, and I really appreciate you listening. I really appreciate all of you, from the youngest to the oldest, from the smallest to the biggest, from the dumbest to the smartest, to my first-time listeners, my last-time listeners. May God bless all of you. Take care. Hey, come check out You Probably Right podcast. Society is getting more unpredictable every day, but at the same time, predictable in its unpredictability. Say that 4 times real fast. Come with me as I attempt to find clarity in all the fog while staying way outside the box and kicking the box way down the road with my size 12 dogs. I use the Bible, experience, education, fortune, misfortune, life's lessons, life's mistakes to sort through all the mess. I talk about news, God, God, self-help, sports, sickness, health, music, parenting, love, humbleness, hurt, pain, joy, and all the things that might make you say, I never thought of it that way. Hopefully anyway. Also, I take a stab at answering tough and not so tough questions, and all the while understand that, listen, sometimes you end up in the hot seat and there's no thermostat. Well, that's how it is here. And because there's no topic, very few topics off the table, Torontonians will understand that Doug Ford reference there. Hopefully the podcast will be helpful and uplifting. And hey, maybe you'll find your own private Idaho here somewhere. Hope to see you soon.